I feel the need to apologize in advance for this, but I cannot help myself. I have to show you this and talk about it. This is a full-blown Jesus wept situation. This is one of those degenerate acts that the Lord up in heaven turns his head away from in shame with tears in his eyes. Matt sent me this earlier today. I can't even believe this is a real sentence I'm going to say. There's a villain on the loose in Washington, D.C. right now, a true menace to society, a maniac on the loose. And a Reddit user caught them in 4K on camera where they put a cucumber in the grill of their vehicle, an innocent civilian's vehicle. This dude comes up, puts a cucumber in the grill, and then fucks himself with it. I'll show you some of the footage here, and I gotta tell you, it seems premeditated. I don't think this is his first rodeo here. Also, according to some people in the comments, they actually recognized his MO. Apparently, he's done this cucumber butt fucking across Washington before. So anyway, this guy comes over, and he sticks the cucumber in the grill of that car, like Neil Armstrong planting the American flag on the moon. He also appears to be a master magician because that sleight of hand was impressive. I didn't even see the cucumber in his hand at any point until he reached the vehicle. It's like he just spawned it in, just conjured the cucumber out of thin air. So he makes sure that it's firmly planted in there like Excalibur into the stone. And also, the Reddit user gave a brief explanation for why there's like a hole in that fence. According to the lore, 3 kids crashed a stolen car into their fence last week, which created this hole, which the Cucumber Crusader used to get access to the vehicle. I can hear that Nissan Rogue crying out in agony right now. He is sexually assaulting this poor Nissan here. In broad daylight, too. Like, he looks around once just to check if anyone's watching, and then just goes for it. It wasn't exactly the most thorough sweep of the area, but who knows, maybe he's on a 3 cucumber ass streak, so he's got a UAV online, so he knew it was clear. He knew the coast was clear. So he just starts bouncing on it for a while, and then a car comes by. But he had like a spidey sense that was tingling, so before the car turned the corner, he must have heard it, I suppose. So he stops right in the cucumber. So he gets off the mechanical bull here and waits for the car to pass. He looks so annoyed that this car is passing through, like, come on, man, really? This is private property. Can't you see I'm busy? Go on, scram, get out of here. I got business to tend to. He pops the cucumber out of the car, at least most of it, according to the Reddit post. 2/3 or so was left in the grill of the car. That is a big-ass cucumber. Emphasis on ass cucumber. Like, that shit is the size of Kevin from SpongeBob. And also, it doesn't seem like he lubricated it either. At no point does he, like, spit on it or anything. He just raw dogs the cucumber on the grill of this Nissan. I don't know how he didn't tear his entire butthole off by taking a cucumber dry up the pooper. That is craziness. So anyway, though, he's all disappointed now that his session was interrupted, so he takes his trusty steed, walks back over to his lunchbox, puts out his cigarette, and then we go into phase 2 of the boss battle. He drops his trousers again, and this time he just starts shoving the cucumber in his ass while he's like somewhat bent over. I can't show you any footage of that one, obviously, but you know, he doesn't even need the cars anymore. He's done with props. He cracks his knuckles and says, "Fine, I'll do it myself." This whole video is unhinged, but perhaps the most insane part about it is something I can't show you because his ass is out. But when he finishes plungering his asshole, he puts the cucumber back in his lunchbox. Dude just drops a stinky poo-cumber into his lunchbox and then walks away with it. It's like an ambiguous open ending to Inception here, where you, the viewer, get to decide what he did with it next. In my headcanon, he just goes and eats it. Like, I feel like he probably ate that ass pickle. But it's also equally possible that, he takes his sidekick to another car, and the cycle repeats itself again with him ass blasting himself on the hood of another person's vehicle. By far, the most degenerate thing I've seen this year. I think I can safely say that. Now, this story has somewhat blown up, at least in Washington. It's been picked up by quite a few outlets. And the location where this act happened is right next to a school. And I mean right next to a school. Like, you could actually shoot a spitball and probably hit it from the place where this guy stuck a cucumber in his butt. This area is apparently used by students pretty often. Like, they walk down that alley to get to school. A lot of people go down this area. It's a high traffic zone. And this dude did that there. It is so fucking gross. This whole thing is so disgusting. But yeah, I just had to talk about this a little bit. If you live in the Washington, D.C. area, sleep in fear. Maybe, like booby trap the grill of your car just in case he happens to roll through and your car piques his interest. Maybe like some barbed wire a little bit on the front of the grill or something. I'm not really sure how to stop it, but good luck out there. As of right now, he's still at large. So, yeah, that's really about it. So yeah. I've recently been on a streak of sharing good news with all of you. Positive, silly, or wholesome things. But just like my wrist when I was 15 playing in a wiffle ball game, it's time to break it. I have to share this story here. The streak is coming to an end. How many of you know the name Christopher Schultz? I imagine not that many of you, unless maybe you see him in the comments section on Pornhub or something. He is a deplorable degenerate, worst dad of the year. Earlier this year, he killed his 2-year-old daughter by leaving her in a hot car. 109 degrees. She was left in the car for 3 hours so he could go inside and do some online shopping and watch porn. And also played some video games, no doubt bottom fragging in whatever game he was playing, and for 3 hours, he left his daughter in the car to die.
So I'm being treated like a murderer?
No.
I just lost my...
Not at all. I know that. And I know this isn't easy for you. That's why I'm trying to be straightforward and honest with you, okay?
Not the most convincing performance with these crocodile tears he tried to squeak out. His eyes couldn't really get moisturized at all there. So probably not the strongest performer in his high school thespian troupe, but he does look like the kind of guy who still talks about the high school glory days of being an offensive lineman in the state championship. This guy has a history of being a fucking mess and putting his kids in danger.
My whole family, my whole family's gonna be ruined.
Would it be alright? So we can't let you do that right now. We have to stand by with you. Okay? As soon as you can, we will let you know.
You can stay in the room if you want, but I'm gonna talk.
I know this isn't easy for you, but the quicker we get this done and finished up, the sooner you can be with your wife. Alright?
I'm trying to rinse off so I can go to the hospital and be with my wife.
We're not going to shower or anything right now. You need to stand by.
He got over the death of his daughter very fast. Now he's focused on practicing good hygiene, probably for the first time in his life, because this dude is a complete fucking rotten slob. He has a history of being a drunk and also driving while intoxicated, allegedly. It's unknown if he was intoxicated during this moment here. There's no conclusive evidence of it, but just giving it the old eyeball test here, it seems like he is. Like, I'm sniffing it, and it smells like this guy is fucking hammered. Like, the way he can barely keep his eyes open, the way that he's kind of, like, unsteady on his feet, he kind of wobbles a little bit like Oswald Cobblepot. He, to me, seems intoxicated. But, of course, I'm not an expert. I didn't come over there and fucking breathalyze him or anything. I'm just telling you what my little peepers are looking at here with the evidence, and that's my impression. He actually looks like a caricature of an alcoholic you'd find in a cartoon. Like he'd be a regular at the Family Guy's Drunken Clam.
I don't understand why.
Okay, so we just need to stand by.
And I'm standing by. Why can't I take a shower while you stand by? What is...
It's not necessary right now. Okay. I'm not going to stand here and watch you shower. There'll be time for that, but it's not right now, okay?
Now, this happened earlier this year, and his charges have been upgraded to first-degree murder. And the reason for that is, he claimed that he left his daughter in the car because she was sleeping and he didn't want to wake her. But it turns out he has a history of irresponsible and dangerous behavior towards his children, including previously leaving them in cars. And in this case, he said he left the car running, but that he also knew that the car had a safety feature that would turn off the engine after 30 minutes. He said he knew from previous experience. He also tried to claim that he got home at 2 p.m. in order to make it seem like it wasn't that long with her trapped inside of the vehicle. But surveillance camera footage confirms he got home at 12:53 p.m., so the girl was in the car for 3 hours. It wasn't until his wife got home at 4 p.m. that her unconscious body was recovered. So his weaselly, slimy little story doesn't work, and he openly admits that he knew the car would turn off. Now, they're trying to claim that he forgot the child's in the car, saying, like, this kind of thing happens, people just forget their kid in the car. And I guess that is true, because for as long as I can remember, probably for as long as cars have existed, there have been hundreds and thousands of reports of kids and pets dying in hot vehicles because the people were too stupid to recognize that you shouldn't do that, that that's a bad thing. So yeah, I know that is correct. People do forget their kid in the car sometimes, but that's not a good excuse. That's for the most dangerously moronic of society, and I don't think that that somehow should, be okay. Like, they made a boo-boo, what a mistake, a whoops-a-daisy moment. We can't throw them in jail for that. Yes, you should. That is too stupid to be allowed in society. You are a danger to the people around you for being such a fucking idiot. Like, I think that is not a good defense at all. Even if that is the case. I don't know if he planned to kill his daughter here. There's no way I'd be able to tell. But regardless, his irresponsible, dangerous actions led to her death. That is an irrefutable fact. And he needs to face the harshest possible consequences for that. And there's a lot of messages that confirm that this guy is just a complete fucking menace. You haven't shown me you can stop putting the girls in danger or not treat me badly. Even yesterday, you drove home drunk with 2 minors. I've been asking for 3 years to cut back and it's actually gotten worse. You replaced cocaine with alcohol. He repeatedly put their children in danger over and over again. Also, apparently shoplifted beer, 2 or 3 cans at a time. So this guy was just fucking boofing beer cans on his way out, just putting them in his prison wallet and shuffling away, I suppose. And there is also numerous incidents where children were wandering around the neighborhood unsupervised without Schultz knowing they were out of the house. On the day of the child's death, the police gave a timeline. The 2-year-old had been in the car for more than an hour and 10 minutes when Schultz began browsing the internet. A computer search shows over half an hour. He visited a shopping site, then spent 5 minutes watching pornography videos. No one removed the child and tried to save her until her mother came home at around 4:15 p.m. About 3.5 hours after police say surveillance cameras saw Christopher Schultz park the car and walk away. Also, according to his other 2 children, he had got distracted putting food away and playing video games. So that's like the whole timeline here. This disgusting Cro-Magnon made the inexplicable decision to leave his daughter in the car because she was sleeping and didn't want to wake her for whatever reason. Claimed he left the car running, even while knowing that the car would shut off in 30 minutes. Goes inside to do a little shopping, probably picking up a few nipple clamps for himself off Amazon, and then watches 5 minutes of porn, so he must have seen one boobie and busted, and then spent the rest of the time putting food away and playing video games. All the while, his daughter was dying in that car. What a piece of shit. And again, this isn't like a freak accident from this guy. He has a history of this kind of dangerous behavior with his children. And here's another text message to confirm it. On the day the child died, the mother on the way to the hospital with daughter texts him and says, "I told you to stop leaving them in the car. How many times have I told you?" He replied, "Babe, I'm sorry." So he has done this a lot. It's been confirmed by many others that Christopher Schultz left his kids in the car pretty frequently. I'm also going to throw this in here because I found it kind of sad when reading about this. Schultz's wife spoke during his appearance in court where he's pleading not guilty to the charges, and she spoke saying that she wants him back home with their other children to begin the grieving process. She also said he is not a risk to the community. He's a risk to everyone. There is repeated behavior that endangered your children, and it led to the 2-year-old daughter dying. And it was pretty obvious from the body cam footage that there wouldn't be any grieving on the behalf of Christopher Schultz. It doesn't really seem like he cared all that much. How could someone who actually cared about his children constantly drunk drive with them or leave them in hot cars so much that you have told him tons of times to stop doing that? That is not the actions of someone who cares. That is the actions of an evil piece of shit. And it seems like she's going to be sticking by his side, which I just do find sad. I'm not like blaming her or anything, because I understand when you've been with someone for so long, it's very hard to come to terms with something like this happening. But she mentioned how he treats her badly and constantly goes against her advice of keeping the children safe. He did the most irresponsible and dangerous shit with his kids frequently. This is not someone that should ever see the light of day again. Schultz also has a 16-year-old from a previous relationship who spoke out about this, saying that Schultz would leave her alone inside of the car sometimes for hours since she was as young as 7. It makes plenty of sense. Actually, I'm surprised it didn't happen sooner. Once, I had to go sit out in the car for 4 to 5 hours and continuously had to restart the car and had only eaten once that day. Like, this is someone who has no regard for human life outside of his own. He, from what I can tell, and this is me just on the outside looking in, it seems like this guy really viewed children as a burden or a nuisance, so any opportunity he had to, like, distance himself from them, he would take. And that would be leaving them in the car so he could go inside and watch porn and play games without having children around to bother him or something. That's the impression I get from this. There is no other explanation for this reckless behavior and this endangering of his children. She described that period as a nightmare, saying that it changed her as a person and she'll never be the same as she was before she moved into that house, and that it got so bad in 2021 she tried to take her own life because she didn't want to live with her father. Child Protective Services got involved and Schultz lost custody of her. This man has a complete disregard for the well-being of his children. This is not the case of a good man making one mistake. This is the case of a bad man making tons and tons of mistakes until it costs someone their life. I truly don't believe that this is some kind of forgivable accident, that it just slipped his mind his daughter was still in the car after it had turned off. This is someone that should face the maximum possible sentence here. I don't know if they'll actually get first-degree murder charges to stick on him here. I'm not a fucking lawyer, but I'm sure there will be some charges that will stick in this case, and I hope that it carries a huge, huge prison sentence. But anyway, I just wanted to talk about this a little bit. That's it. So yeah. Stand back, I'm being brave. Stalkers are bad. Just deranged individuals, absolute sick weirdos. And I just learned about a new stalker I didn't know existed until Matt sent me this video where he went to court and immediately just proclaimed he's guilty as charged. It's Caitlin Clark's stalker. And this guy looks like he was biologically engineered to end up as a lunatic stalker. He looks exactly like what you imagine, like that caricature you make in your head, of an obsessed loser.
Morning, Mr. Lewis.
Guilty as
No, sir. This is initial hearing.
Oh.
We are not. You have a right to remain silent, and I expect you to exercise that. Okay, this is just telling you what the charges are. You do not listen. I'll give you a chance to talk. It's not your time.
Throw me the bookie.
Stop talking.
Buddy really thought this was going to be like his Joker moment. I bet he thought that line went really hard. Or maybe he really does recognize that the world is a better place with him locked away, because he is begging the judge to just throw the book at him. Buddy stares right down the pipe on the camera, so I'm guessing he wanted to make like a famous moment for himself out of all of this. He looks like Charles Manson if he had a Funko Pop addiction.
Charging documents lay out how prosecutors say a man, quote, terrorized, frightened, and intimidated one of the country's most popular athletes. Indiana Fever superstar Caitlin Clark. Michael Lewis faces a felony stalking charge after allegedly traveling to Indianapolis to be near her.
Now, Mr. Looney Lewis was sending threatening and sexual messages to Caitlin Clark on Twitter, mainly. And the messages, well, at least some of them, are still there. Like, some of the tweets are still there. It's a ton. He very much was infatuated with her, obsessed, and even traveled to Indianapolis to be close to her. Very dangerous, unhinged shit. His most recent messages are kind of nonsensical gibberish, though I can make out the first one there, which is "you buyin'." Very much sounds like the Resident Evil 4 weapons merchant. But the one after that, "you be coffalogopus," okay? Don't know what the fuck that is. He must have just flopped his meat on the keyboard and just hit enter. That is actual nothingness. And then as you continue to scroll through his tweets, they become a little more lucid, and they're almost always directed at Caitlin Clark, directly to her, except for these two right there, where I guess he was arguing with someone. And then it's right back onto his life's mission of being in this imaginary relationship with Caitlin Clark. This is the people you're arguing with on Twitter, by the way. Assuming they're not just bots, which a lot of the platform is. The actual flesh, blood, and cringe that are just constantly fighting on Twitter like professional tweeters. This is what they look like in real life, by the way. Anyway, though, if you just scroll through his fucking Twitter, it's nothing but him talking about being with Caitlin Clark. He also has this fixation on making out. He constantly mentions, "You want to make out with me? When are we making out? Hey, let's start making out." He speaks as though the only thing he's ever watched in his life is Degrassi, and now he's under the impression that that's how people talk to one another. It's so odd. It's so weird. It just goes on and on and on. Like, these are all from the same day. Do you even like to make out? The one before that is, once again, no spaces. Your puss needs a real good pounding. You're not into like, it's just, it's absolute insanity. He is very clearly a textbook definition of a dangerous stalker. He even went to her area to be near her. And I'm absolutely shocked that the authorities did something. They don't usually take stalking super seriously, but in this case, he's getting charged. They apprehended him, and it looks like they are going to throw the bookie at him, as he said, which I think is great. They may have just saved her life, because these kind of people, they snap. We've seen this shit happen tons and tons of times. And how many stories have we, like on the channel, gone over where stalkers weren't taken seriously and then something really bad happened, and then all of a sudden the most preventable tragedy ever unfolds. So I'm happy to see they're actually doing something about this.
Police say he admitted it is a, quote, imaginary relationship, with dozens of posts on X directly tagging Clark, including a number of threatening and sexually explicit messages, according to prosecutors, even posting after an initial encounter with police. An attorney for Lewis hasn't been listed online.
I'm going to make a bold prediction. Usually I'm wrong, but in this case, I feel very confident. I think he's going to represent himself. I'm very certain of it. I think he's going to waive his right to an attorney and say, fuck it, we'll do it live, and he's going to do it himself. That's my prediction. We'll see how it unfolds, but I just wanted to lock that one in, so if it happens, I look like a goddamn prophet for it. Now, even outside of that short video clip, it doesn't seem the rest of the proceeding was a slam dunk for him. It was clear from just that short 30 seconds the judge was already really fed up with that behavior. But he continued to have other outbursts. He even contradicted himself, claiming that the prosecutors got the wrong guy because they didn't attach Junior to his name. Overall, he just wasn't treating it very seriously, even though he could face up to like 6 years in jail from what I was reading. But he just doesn't seem to give a fuck. So he's from Texas and apparently lives in his vehicle, drove it to Indianapolis, and was arrested at a hotel in Indianapolis after posting the messages and saying things like, "Getting tickets, I'm sitting behind the bench." And then he even makes this tweet here, which references that they are actively coming for him. They said I was sending threatening texts, but the only thought on my mind was, Caitlin! Caps lock. Interestingly enough, I went to the first tweet from Michael Lewis, and it's from January 7th. So he hasn't really been doing this for all that long, but every single tweet since January 7th, all 887 of them, pretty much, are directed to Caitlin Clark. So his first one, "No greater love than to lay down your life, ... So he's a relatively new stalker. He's still in his rookie season here. He's been doing it for about 2 weeks, and it was so egregious that authorities are actually acting on it, which is a good thing. I also think there's a chance that this isn't his first time stalking. After going through so many of his tweets, I feel like he's probably done this to others, but not on this account. I feel like he probably makes accounts like this. The name of this account is RacerX2031. That's an Xbox Live generated gamertag, basically. That's fucking nothing. So I bet he probably makes specific accounts for the sole purpose of stalking individuals, and this one was for Caitlin Clark, his most recent obsession. But I just get the feeling he's definitely done this in the past, too. That's just a hunch, though. Either way, really good news that he has been taken in by authorities. Fucking weirdo stalker. That's really about it. So yeah. In life, there's always going to need to be things that you need to fix or replace. You're going to eventually need to change the oil in your car. Your favorite pen will run out of ink and you'll need to get new ink or a new pen. All the food in your house will either expire and you'll throw it out, or you'll eat it all. You gluttonous monster, learn photosynthesis like a real man. But there's one thing that absolutely needs some fixing that often gets neglected and not spoken about as much, but it's equally as important as everything else. Your tailbone. Tailbones only have a certain amount of mileage on them before they need a little sprucing up, spritzing a little WD-40 on them so they can keep running well. And that's where tailbone adjustments come into play, a crucial component of overall health and wellness recommended by every scientific expert under the sun. I'm sure all of you know oodles about tailbone adjustments. They're a standard procedure. And recently, a video has been popping up all over the place with people making fun of just a good old-fashioned tailbone adjustment, and, well, I tell you, sports fans, I found it sickening. You know, yes, a tailbone adjustment may not be the prettiest thing in the world, but sometimes the most important jobs are the dirtiest. I wish there wasn't music in here so we could hear more of the action, because that noise that briefly broke through the music that sounded like the Ed Eddie crashing sound effect, like a fucking explosion of carnage, I am curious what that was. So, this is a tailbone adjustment, and based on the little bit of research I did, it's something chiropractors do occasionally with coccyx manipulation. Though I don't think she's necessarily using textbook protocol here. This isn't the technique that I've seen the others employ. She's just fingering his asshole and nothing else. She's in there, like, putting a whole thumb in there. It almost looked like she was going to go work him like a fucking puppet, like a ventriloquist act, where she was going to shove her whole hand up his ass. I also just can't comprehend how this guy is being such a brave warrior about this, because his butthole's getting tickled. Like, how is he not squirming, going, oh, like, how is that, like, how is he able to just sit still during all of that? That has to be remarkably uncomfortable and downright painful, the way that she's, like, pushing on it, and she's, like, slapping up on it a little bit, too. Like, that's gotta hurt a lot. It's like she was trying to break a fucking dry spaghetti noodle with his tailbone. Maneuver Naruto used with 1,000 years of death. So she's just getting in there with one of these the whole time. Now, of course, she's also at risk here, too. She's in the splash zone of a fart. So this is dangerous to both parties, no doubt. But I just cannot get over what she's even trying to accomplish here. She also does, like, this flourish with her hand, like it's a magic trick or something. So she's doing this over his butthole. Maybe there was a little bit of flatulence there and she was wafting it away from her workspace. I also feel like the last thing being manipulated during this procedure is his tailbone. It seems like most of the business is going right into the ass crack and nowhere else. Like, I feel like he comes in there saying, like, hey, it kind of hurts when I sit a little bit. She bends him over and then just starts like fucking speed bagging in his anus. And he's like, what the fuck? How is this helping my sitting problem? All it's doing is shoving my pants and boxers into my colon. I can sense his relief from here. Nothing quite like getting your tailbone cranked on. Man was taking some brutal back shots to the spine there. That was rough. It doesn't seem to be a super common thing chiropractors will offer, because I've only seen a handful of videos with it, and I'd like to share a couple of them with you because they're very interesting. Now, in this tailbone adjustment, there's more questions than answers. Why is there a towel draped over the patient's tuchus this time around? Is this a tool they use if the patient is at high risk for shitting? Were they a potential poop hazard, so they threw the towel down for an extra layer of security? But wouldn't then that also diminish the ability to adjust the tailbone? In fact, I would argue that it increases the risk of injury to the patient, because now, in order to breach the towel, the pants, and the undergarments, you will need to exert even more force onto the tailbone, so that you're putting even more pressure there, which I feel like could make it more likely to injure them. Now, of course, looking at the angle of attack here, the angle of azimuth, it doesn't seem like they're going directly on the tailbone. It looks more like they're trying to, like, surprise attack it, like with a pincer maneuver with 2 fingers, where they're going, like, they're riding up the chocolate starfish and then kind of flanking the tailbone almost. So I guess maybe if they're just putting more pressure on that, it wouldn't be as painful or like risk injury. I don't know. There's so many things I don't quite understand about the elaborate art of tailbone adjustments. It looks like they're trying to use a car jack in the ass. It's like when you're trying to fish something out of the drain that just fell down the sink or something. Is this really the only way? Is there nothing more effective? Also, this patient's nearly bare ass. They're in their boxers here. So what dictates what clothes will be appropriate when getting into the butt tickling? You know what I mean? Why is this patient in their boxers, but the first patient was in just pants, and the second patient in pants plus a towel on top? So, like, what really drives that decision?
Beide Beine gleichzeitig hochheben, richtig gestreckt und richtig halten. Zusammendrücken noch, alle zu, genau.
My brother, that wasn't her tailbone cracking, that's a toot. She broke wind. Which I think is totally normal given the position here of a tailbone adjustment. But this was a very different technique. So this one didn't deal with any kind of fingers and any orifices here. This time he spread her legs like a Thanksgiving turkey and then just pushed them to the side, I guess, for the tailbone adjustment relief stuff. I don't know. It seems like there's a big discrepancy between what techniques are used by what chiropractors. I don't really know. All I know is, probably doesn't feel that good. I don't think there's a whole lot of relief that comes from a tailbone adjustment visit. You probably go there with a little tailbone pain, and you walk out waddling because your ass has just been violated. Like, that's... I feel like you're gonna leave with more problems than you arrived there with. But, you know, maybe that's just spoken like a non-believer that hasn't had his tailbone worked on, you know what I mean? And I don't think I'm gonna be rushing out there to book a tailbone adjustment appointment anytime soon. Don't really want to do that. If I ever wanted to have a finger in my butt, I'd just do it myself. I mean, I can do that. I don't want to, though. So yeah, anyway, I just wanted to talk about this because I saw the video being thrown around all over the place and I was giggling about it, so yeah, that's really about it. So yeah. Kevin O'Leary has quickly become one of my least favorite people on this planet. He is unfathomably cringe, and yet he is still extremely vocal and can't stop chirping about his 40,000 acre data center in Utah. He's doing this nationwide humiliation ritual where he's going on like every platform imaginable, just be clowning himself publicly. He is an embarrassing specimen. He is a disgusting fungus worm man who can't help but yap and squeal about garbage that he is just truly clueless on. Like, he is actually an observably dumb person. And he continues to try and LARP as an American, despite not even being a U.S. citizen. He is Canadian. He has not even bothered to become a U.S. citizen. Yet he's willing to go around preaching about American values and trying to, like, dictate how policy should be. He's singing the blues about, oh, this is so bad now. People don't support my 40,000 acre data center in Utah. Those aren't real Americans. Those aren't real patriots. Those are Chinese spies. When he himself is not a fucking American. He is a fraud. This guy is a actual miasma of cringe, filth, and greed. And also, he is a billionaire. Why hasn't he just done the $1 million enema infusion into Trump's butthole to get that nice golden toilet paper to be just a citizen through money? He hasn't even bothered to do that. Genuinely, I can't fucking stand this guy. He is just trying to pillage and loot this country through his projects, most notably his 40,000 acre data center that's being brute forced through in Utah. And he just recently went on a couple of platforms and continued to make a fool of himself, so I'm going to shoot spitballs at him now for that. This guy is just more fake than Kristi Noem's husband's tits. This guy, there's not a single genuine real thing about him.
Elevate Strategies, also a cell operating inside of Utah. Gabby Finlayson. Gabby, what are you doing? And who's paying you?
Well... Hi, hello. It's me, Gabby Finlayson.
Yeah, because at the end of the day, who would want us to stop building our electrical grid? Which adversary would want that? There's only one. It's China. So what I think is happening, and I got my guys to go a deep dig into the IP addresses, and here's what we found out. This is fascinating. We found 2 cells inside of Utah. Elevate Strategies. Gabby Finlayson. Gabby, what are you doing? And who's paying you? So what I'm doing right now is, after getting this data, I'm calling out Gabby, operating in Utah.
So, hi, Kevin. We are Elevate Strategies. This is Utah. You might not know it because you're from Canada. This is where we live.
It irks me to no end. It is nails on a chalkboard painful listening to this slug man, Kevin O'Leary, utter the words "our." Having those words leave his filthy, corrupt, contaminated lips that are used solely to kiss ass drives me up the fucking wall. What do you mean, our? Kevin, you're not American. Why are you saying our electrical grid? You are not on the team, bud. You're not even on the bench. You are not in this at all, Kevin. You can't speak for Americans. You aren't one. You don't even bother to try and become one either. It is a complete disregard for this nation. You use it solely to line your own pockets. You fucking suck, man. Now, he's trying to call out Elevate Strategies, which is an organization in Utah, and he's saying that they're actually Chinese spies, and he thought he had like this gotcha moment, this dunk where it's like calling one of them out by name, Gabby. So come, Gabby, I'm shining a light here. Show yourself. And I guess he was expecting, a fucking Chinese operative to step forward, or just complete radio silence and crickets, but what he got was the actual organizers here, Gabby herself, coming forward and talking about their goals and what they are doing in Utah as people that actually live and work there. This isn't some fucking grand conspiracy to try and stop these benevolent saints from bestowing upon us plebeians the gift of data centers. We have so many data centers that are blowing up across the country. Well, not literally. Don't worry, BlackRock's already taken that into account. I yapped about that yesterday. I mean, like this explosion of data centers being built. Like they are pushing for data centers in every single location imaginable. You'll probably find some data centers in your fucking thoughts too. They're starting to put them there as well. Like they're actually going everywhere. And we have the information from the data centers that have been operational for a while that it is a terrible deal for all the normal working people. The normal civilians get butt fucked by this. Their energy bills go through the roof. They lose water quality. It's just a complete contamination to their way of life in their local communities. And again, it doesn't bring jobs. I've mentioned this a lot. I've yapped about this endlessly, especially over the last couple weeks. One of the biggest data centers in this country only employs roughly 150 full-time employees, and normal average-sized data centers run as lean as 20 to 25 employees. They are not giving jobs to the community, so the community sees none of the upside. It doesn't benefit them in any way, shape, or form. And I know I already mentioned it, but because of the huge energy demand for these data centers, it then inevitably has the consequence that all of the local community members have their energy bills fucking skyrocket, and of course there is the impact on water and all that. But then there's also something that's starting to develop now. It happened very recently. I talked about it yesterday. NV Energy, an energy supplier to Lake Tahoe residents, let them know that they're just not going to be giving power to the people anymore. They are now going to solely focus on delivering power to their local data centers. So now 50,000 residents in Lake Tahoe are now at a risk of not even having power because NV Energy just decided it's more lucrative to just solely work with AI and basically fuck you to all of the actual human beings that rely on them for the energy to live. So now they have to try and scramble by 2027, only a year, to find a new power supplier to these 50,000 residents. It's actual insanity. Normal people do not want data centers, and they are doing all they can to fight back, albeit unsuccessfully because of the intense corruption, especially in like Utah, where 3 people, one of them even fighting for hell, saying for hell's sakes, grow up. People that are literally just going against the will of the people, deciding to brute force it through because they get some doubloons out of that deal most likely. However, I would like to highlight a successful one that has recently unfolded, where recently in Missouri, the council that pushed through a data center initiative, all of them got voted out in a landslide defeat, and now they're setting their sights on the mayor who allowed this to happen as well. This is exactly how it should be. If you are not going to actually represent the people in your community, if you are going to go against their interest in order for your own greed and exploitation, you lose your job. You lose that position. That's exactly how it should be. That's exactly what's happening in this Missouri community. So hats off to them, and I hope to see more of this shit continue. Anyway, back to clowning on Kevin O'Leary.
Before we get into anything too serious, this is the very scary, very intimidating man that is threatening us. We are not taking the criticism of anyone who is wearing flip-flops and a suit on national television. You know, it's not every day you get called out by first and last name on Fox News by a Canadian billionaire trying to ruin my state, but here we are.
Kevin is such a quirk chungus Reddit loser. He's wearing pink flip-flops with his suit and a Utah national security hat, because he's cosplaying as this big, rough and tough guy. It's like if you went into a character creator in a video game and intentionally tried to make the most insufferable looking asshole you could think of. And he also has a life-size cardboard cutout of him in the same room.
I want a forensic audit of who's funding their platforms. Who is it? So these are proxies for the Chinese government's my argument. And if they're not, because I want them to be able to defend their name to Gabby, come out, wherever you are.
Okay, Kevin, go ahead. Mr. Wonderful's Nancy Drew little detective agency, have at it, brother, because if we were Chinese operatives, we would be the worst operatives in the entire world. Someone alert Beijing that the payment portal to Jackie and I's Amex bills is somehow broken. As a reminder, we run Democratic campaigns in the state of Utah. If we were in this to be making money, we would be doing literally anything else. And you should know that because your job is to give small business owners an aid. But if we're talking about audits, we should be auditing the Stratos Project. We should be auditing all of the politicians that, I don't know, do you have property surrounding the Stratos Project? Or maybe do you have interests that you were changing the laws before this was created? Hypothetically. We're just saying we should maybe look into people that stand to make hundreds of millions of dollars off this project.
Audit is a word that should be treated like Voldemort in Kevin's vocabulary. He should fear the word audit. Because if anyone actually gave a fuck about Kevin's business dealings, they would uncover some extremely shady shit, I imagine. The last thing he would want is any kind of auditing for his projects like the 40,000 acre data center, the Stratos project. He's trying so hard to use the worn out method of everyone who disagrees with my business practices is a spy or a terrorist. They're not real Americans. But it doesn't work, Kevin, because data centers are so unanimously hated by real people that actually live in these communities that you are infesting that this just doesn't fly. Because, again, average, ordinary people are directly impacted by this in a wildly negative fashion, and they do actually go out and try and fight against it. So when you, a foreign billionaire, come over and start stepping all over them, insulting them, and saying that they're not real Americans, they're being paid by China or being bussed in, and aren't actually representative of the real enthusiasm true Americans have around data centers, it just doesn't work. People see right through the lie. He also just can't help himself but to go on this humiliation ritual where he makes it abundantly clear that he is just actually a stupid imbecile, like a bumbling moron. There's always this perception that if you have as much money as Kevin, you must be smart. But Kevin is doing everything he can to show that that's just not the case.
To stop advancement of technology with the uncertainty it brings has always been a dilemma in capitalism and in America. And it's a fair comment.
But how is this capitalism? If taxpayers are paying for some of it, how is that capitalism? That seems...
I think that's no different than building an apartment building downtown in Austin. You can get incentives for that too, and that's just part of how it works. You can debate
How is that capitalism? How is that free market? If politicians are handing you other people's money to do it, how is that capitalism?
Well, capitalism is built into the Constitution, which I think was genius.
As I said, he's been going on like every platform imaginable, and every time he finds a way to look dumber and dumber. So throughout this interview, he continues to like flounder. He was also then asked about like, well, what jobs is it going to bring? Because Kevin keeps talking about the millions of jobs that this is going to bring. People just don't see the vision. And he couldn't actually name any jobs or actually explain that thought process of his. And also, it looks like he's fucking zooted out of his mind. Why does he keep zoning out? Is he blue screening in the brain? Is he seeing a ghost or like a big floating pair of titties? Like, what does Kevin keep looking off into? Is he that shy, maybe? I don't know. This guy just super sucks. And it's not just the AI data centers that he's doing his best to go to bat for and defend tooth and nail. He also just loves to go on and talk about, like, American policies and stuff, and his view on how that should be.
The problem with that sentiment is that you were born in 1954.
Yeah.
Okay, you're 71.
Yeah.
Right. In 1954,
by the way, I'm a vampire. I'm
during your lifetime, we've actually had Brown v. Board of Education.
I remember.
Yeah, Brown v. Board of Education. I don't know how you remember it. I think you were like 2 months old. But I'm not finished yet.
Kevin can't help but perpetually interrupt when he's backed into a corner, which is always. This guy, if he didn't have money, would have just been the kind of douchebag, the kind of dweeb that just gets shoved into lockers. So he tried to pretend he knew what Brown v. Board of Education was. He's like, oh, yes, I actually remember that. Very, very vividly, in fact. And the guy there's like, no, you definitely don't. You would have been 2 months old. And also, you're not American. Kevin, you're not American. You wouldn't know anything about what he's describing here or what he's going over. I know you've never opened up a fucking American history book. You don't have a clue what he's talking about, but he likes to pretend. He's a LARPer. He is a full-blown red alert LARPer. It's all he fucking does. Well, to be fair, I guess it's not all he does. He also can't help but constantly remind people that he was in Marty Supreme. That's what you heard right there where he said, I'm a vampire, by the way. That's a reference to one of his character's lines from that film where he plays a villain. It's like the only thing Kevin's done in recent memory where there was any level of praise for his work. So he's still riding that high, and he will not let people forget the vampire line from his Marty Supreme debut. It's actually a SpongeBob ripped pants moment. He just keeps doing it. I ripped my pants. I'm a vampire. Fucking loser, man. I hate Kevin O'Leary. Anyway, I'll stop yapping about it. He just goes on to keep embarrassing himself every time he does one of these shows. It is indefensible what he is doing in Utah with the 40,000 acre data center. This guy sucks major ass. Fuck you, Kevin O'Leary. That's really about it. See ya. I know that the lighting right now doesn't look very good. I've been told that it looks like I'm about to tell scary stories around a campfire. And I agree, like it looks like I'm in some kind of CIA black site off the books that's about to interview a terrorist. And I solved that problem by getting this light. See? Now it's just holly jolly ambiance. But I'm going to turn that light off because I am going to tell you a scary story. I have been deep in the rabbit hole on stream of looking at the world's worst cuisine, like the weirdest dishes in the world. And I've recently stumbled across two that I don't know if they can be topped or not. Like, there are so many food dishes from around the world that use piss and shit as a primary ingredient in the concoction. The chemical X in the Powerpuff Girls formula here. But not only do they just use human pee and poo-poo, for some reason, they specifically use piss and shit from children. And they even have, like, age specifications. So one of them that we were talking about on stream was virgin boy eggs. The blueprint to this monstrosity is not complicated. It's about as simple as it gets. 2 ingredients. Egg, pee. Except the pisser has to be a child under the age of 10 for some reason. Can't find any explanation on why it has to be a kid's pee, only that it's been a tradition in the area for hundreds of years. I don't know what would happen if you tried to pull a fast one on him with a prank and you used, like, a 30-year-old man's piss. I don't know if they'd just be, like, bodies in the streets, like it'd be poison. Like, oh, fuck! It's 30-year-old man piss! Or what would happen? It's just, that's the tradition, and it's so odd. They collect the piss from local schools. And then the other one we dove in on came from South Korea. It's a rice wine made with poop from 4 to 7-year-olds specifically. It's shit wine. And Vice actually has an old documentary on this from 10 years ago, before Vice itself went to shit. I have just been fascinated by these outrageous foods, and I just wanted to show you a little bit of the research we've done on stream. Granted, it's not much, and I promise you, I will never try these foods, so don't even bother asking. You couldn't pay me enough money to eat piss eggs and drink poop wine. I couldn't do that under any circumstances. Real quick, Kopi Luwak is a coffee that consists of partially digested coffee cherries which have been eaten and defecated by the Asian palm civet. The cherries are fermented as they pass through the civet's intestines, and after being defecated with other fecal matter, they're collected. I did hear about poop coffee. But apparently, this one's, like, not dangerous, though. This is like a real, like, luxury coffee or something. What about Chinese urine eggs? What is a urine egg? Hold on. I really want to see the banned foods real quick, but now these are really interesting. A urine egg? Urine-soaked eggs, also known as virgin boy eggs. What? This is... what? The dish is prepared by soaking eggs in the urine of young boys. The mixture is then heated over the stove, and after boiling, the entire surface of the eggshells are cracked and placed back into the urine. The used urine is then replaced with fresh urine, and the process is repeated. Also, why does it have to be young boy pee-pee? You could just take any piss, right? No, you've ruined my egg. This is 30-year-old man piss. Oh my god! I would never eat old man urine egg. A spring taste treat in China City. Basins and bucket of boys' urine are collected from primary school toy. Oh my god! Oh! What? What is this? This whole paragraph. It's the key ingredient in virgin boy eggs, a local tradition of soaking and cooking eggs in the urine of young boys, preferably below the age of 10. There's no good explanation for why it has to be boy urine, just that it has been so for centuries. The scent of these eggs being cooked in pots of urine is unmistakable as people pass the mini street vendors in the Dongyang who sell it, claiming it has remarkable health properties. Ugh. They scoop piss out of public school toilets and soak eggs in it. The schools allow it and encourage it. Hot take. If there was a restaurant that was coming to my house, knocking on the door saying, Charles, we'd like to buy your urine from the toilet, I'd say, hey, you're welcome to it. Just give me a good premium. I'm not using it. I was just going to flush that to the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. If you're going to pay me for it, take my pee. I see why schools would be okay with it, because they make money off piss. If you eat this, you will not get heat stroke. These eggs are cooked in urine. These eggs cooked in urine are fragrant. So this guy owns one of the more popular virgin boy egg stalls. They're good for your health. Our family has them for every meal. In Dongyang, every family likes eating them. It takes nearly an entire day to make these unique eggs, starting off by soaking and boiling raw eggs in a pot of urine. After that, the shells of the hard-boiled eggs are cracked and continue to simmer in urine for hours. Vendors have to keep pouring urine into the pot and controlling the fire to keep the eggs from being overheated or overcooked. How would eating a piss egg stop you from getting heat stroke? This is some crazy nonsense. What's the price? I'm not sure here. He says he's been making the snack popular due to its fresh and salty taste for more than 20 years and goes for 24 cents, a little more than twice the price of the regular eggs he also sells. Many Dongyang residents, young and old, said they believed in the tradition passed on by ancestors that eggs decrease body heat, promote better blood circulation, and just generally reinvigorate the body. By eating these eggs, we will not have any pain in our waists, legs, and joints. Also, you'll have more energy when you work. It's just... like, that's... I'm running out of words for it. It's just... It's actual insanity. It's just insanity. That lady on My Strange Addiction drank pee to help with joint pain too. I know, it's not... What's crazy... What's even crazier is that it's not exclusive to just piss eggs. There are people in the US that believe drinking urine is really good for you and has a host of health benefits like joint pain, inflammation, and that lady also did eye drops for piss. So she'd take the cup of piss and put it directly on her eyeball because she thought it would help with her vision and eye health. I bet R. Kelly thinks these eggs slap. Oh, true, he's probably requesting them in prison right now. But not everyone is a fan. You don't say. Chinese medical experts gave mixed review about the health benefits of the practice, with some warning about sanitary issues surrounding the use of urine to cook eggs. And some Dongyang residents also said they hated the eggs. We have this tradition in Dongyang that these eggs are good for our health and that it would help prevent things like getting a cold. I don't believe in all this, so I do not eat them. Smart. Very smart. Also, I'm a little concerned that the Chinese medical experts gave mixed reviews instead of overwhelmingly scolding the practice. He also covered that video about the fitness guy who drank it all the time. Yep, that was the health guru who fermented his piss and then used it as a sunscreen. I don't know how people start believing in pee. I'll just say it. I don't know. Like, I understand how, like, as cavemen, we would see pee as, like, a last-ditch resort for things like maybe cooking or some kind of lotion, perhaps. Like, I can see that. But in the modern day and age, I don't know how anyone looks at piss as, like, an actual, real, usable thing for health benefits. Like, it doesn't compute. I don't know how we get there. Urine hater. I will say, as I am indeed a urine non-believer. I don't believe in ingesting of urine. Tong Sol is Korean wine with child feces. It's a traditional Korean medicine with 9% alcohol content in the poop of a human child between 4 and 7 years old that's refrigerated. Why? Oh, there's a documentary on it. Does it show any poop? Oh, there's just poop here. Yep, he's just showing a whole fucking little turd that he refrigerates for 3 to 4 days. Today, a Kickstarter project was launched as well as a trailer dropping about the final years of Stan Lee's life and the elder abuse he was allegedly victim of. It's a subject I've talked about from time to time on the channel. A few years ago, I even made a video covering the exploitation of his legacy for the sake of shilling NFTs. That one was particularly evil, basically saying, you gotta put all your money into these NFTs. It's what Stan Lee would have wanted. Excelsior, am I right? You don't want to disappoint Stan Lee. Get our NFTs. It's shameful. And there were allegations of elder abuse in the later life of Stan Lee for a long time. And now today, this documentary has popped up from someone named John Bolerjack, who is a former assistant to Stan Lee, who's claiming he's had tons and tons of video evidence and footage of numerous times Stan Lee was taken advantage of, and now he's putting it all together for this documentary called Stan Lee, The Final Chapter, and he's launched a Kickstarter campaign looking for $300,000 to finish it. I'm going to go ahead and give you my thoughts right off rip before we even get into the trailer, as well as like a clip that dropped from it. To me, that feels really exploitative as well. You're telling me you've had this footage for years, incriminating evidence of Stan Lee being taken advantage of, and instead of releasing it throughout the years to spread the word about the injustice he faced or giving it to authorities about potential elder abuse, you've instead just sat on it, keegling it until now, compiling it into this documentary that you're now looking for $300,000 to finish to pay for things like casting, wardrobe, hair and makeup, music composition, a soundstage space, visual effects. Like, what the fuck? If the goal is justice for Stan Lee, this feels highly unnecessary. I don't think you need a visual effects department on standby to cook up some CGI for it, you know? Like, you don't need Blur Animation Studio on the horn to do some kind of 3D render of like a reenactment scene or something. If you've got all of this incriminating evidence, it feels a little weird to be asking $300,000 from people to crowdfund a pretty bow to put on all of this and like elevate it to like a Hollywood production where they want a set constructor, like they want to build a set, like I don't know if they want to like recreate Stan Lee's home 1-to-1 or something, or you know, as well as like a sound stage, like you refuse to release the footage unless everything, like all the testimonials can be filmed on like a Blackmagic Pro 45K camera or something. Like, I don't really understand it. To me, feels like it's also capitalizing off of Stan Lee's name, but this time from a different angle where it's highlighting all of the other people who also exploited Stan Lee in a different way. I'll show you the trailer, and you can obviously form your own fucking thoughts on it, but there's a couple things I want to talk about as well as showing you that clip that dropped.
My name is John Bolerjack, and for the last 4 years of Stan Lee's life, I was his assistant, his confidant, but most importantly, his friend. I traveled the world with him, witnessing firsthand the incredible highs of his legendary career, but also the heartbreaking lows.
John Bolerjack was someone that was close to Stan Lee, and he has filmed a ton of things around him and the people around him as well. So a lot of the footage is basically showcasing how people interacted with Stan Lee, those closest to him, and how they viewed him as kind of like a tool to make money off of. I'll play the rest of the trailer in a moment, but I want to show you this clip because I think this clip is a really interesting look at not only John, but a lot of what Stan Lee was subjected to.
Thank you very much, sir. My pleasure. Right.
Now, are you ready to give a riveting speech? You're going to change lives.
I thought I was finished with that. What do I have to do now?
It's never over.
I'm not on the crazy pills, right? Like, I'm not boofing stupid potion, right? That's John Bolerjack that's saying that to him. You can see his hair, his voice is the same. That's John. And he's the one telling him that it's never over. Like, John, I'm assuming he was trying to be, like, sarcastic there, but John, even at the time, was privy to Stan Lee being taken advantage of, but just sat by and let it continue and let all of those people around him continue to exploit him. To me, it feels really weird. You've got all of this footage, you are aware of these things happening where he's being taken advantage of, and instead of sharing that footage at the time or contacting someone to try and help, he just lets it persist and then holds on to this footage for years after his death. Like, I don't know, it just doesn't feel right to me. Like, it feels off. And he also has something else that I found pretty mean-spirited to say to Stan at the end of this clip.
You what? I said I thought I was finished, but apparently I'm not.
No. Once we're done, we'll get out of here.
Now what do I do here?
Same thing, talk about you. We'll make some new questions.
But I don't have the...
Yes, you will. Yes.
Yeah. You not want to have the mic on? How do I turn on and off? I can control that.
You get your money's worth out of me.
Every single penny.
Penny, like 5 pennies.
So this guy telling Stan Lee what he's going to do, even without Stan Lee really knowing and really wanting to, he is still pushing Stan Lee to do it. And then Stan Lee says, you get your money's worth out of me. And he says, every penny. And then John Bolerjack comes in and says, pennies, like 5 pennies. That's just kind of mean. Like, I don't know what the joke was supposed to be there. I don't know why he would come in at the end and say that on the back of that after we just watched Stan Lee get pushed to do something he wasn't aware of and not wanting to do by somebody who's basically controlling his appearance here. It just rubs me the wrong way.
Stan spent his final years enduring mistreatment, manipulation, and betrayal at the hands of a few very bad actors.
Is there any way to get us out of that San Francisco thing? Or do you feel we gotta do it?
Gotta do it. At the time, I didn't have the power to stop it. But I did have a camera, and I filmed everything.
Whoa, watch out!
It's extremely sad watching this. Elder abuse is a fucking horrid thing. And John claims that at the time he didn't have the power to stop it, but he had a camera, so he filmed everything. Well, you were compiling evidence. You could have submitted that evidence to authorities, and there's a very real chance nothing would have come from it. Yeah, I'm sure there's a lot of, really evil people that would have been able to squeak their way out of it, but you still would have tried. You did have the ability to have this footage come to light. You could have released this footage yourself online. There were a ton of options with this footage outside of just now bringing it to the public's attention while asking for money to finish a movie around that footage. I understand there have been many cases where a documentary has been instrumental in justice for whatever case it's been covering, but I just can't understand why during all of the discussions around is Stan Lee being abused by the people closest to him, there was even a lawsuit about elder abuse and Stan Lee, during all of this, and it did get a ton of attention, why John Bolerjack with his footage wouldn't have come forward to contribute to that discussion with evidence that, yes, Stan Lee is being taken advantage of. Yes, there are people close to Stan Lee doing things that he doesn't want to do or know that he's doing. I don't understand why back then, with all of the footage he had, he wouldn't have spoke up during those times. It just feels weird that he's had it for so long and is now just bringing it to the public during a Kickstarter pitch.
Now I'm asking for your help to finish the film and finally get justice for Stan. This documentary includes first-hand accounts from key witnesses, including comic book legends like Rob Liefeld and Roy Thomas, as well as many others who saw the chaos and unethical acts. This isn't speculation, it's all on camera. Undeniable.
This is old Stan Lee coming at you. No, you're not old.
Irrefutable.
I thought I was finished, but apparently I'm not.
No ambiguity.
I think it's pretty clear from industry veterans that have talked about it to the footage that already exists outside of this documentary, since this hasn't released, so we don't know all the footage in it, that we can say with a pretty high level of confidence Stan Lee was taken advantage of in the later years of his life by tons of people around him. I think that much is pretty clear, in my opinion, and I have no doubt that whatever footage John has here will be really helpful in holding a lot of those evil assholes that were exploiting him accountable. I'm hoping that there will be a lot of good that comes from it. But this approach of just squatting on the footage for many years and then only bringing it out if enough money is given to finish the film is very off-putting. And looking at the Kickstarter rewards feels really weird too. Let me just hold your hand through what $50 gets you in the project. A stunning photo comic capturing rare, candid moments of Stan Lee like you've never seen before. Shot by filmmaker Jonathan Bolerjack, this collection offers an intimate look at the legend's life beyond the spotlight. Featuring 11 different covers, each showcasing a hand-picked image curated by its respective sponsor. Every book comes signed by Bolerjack, making it a must-have for true fans of Stan and his legacy. What? So each copy is signed by John, which means it's a must-have if you love Stan Lee. Where have we heard that nomenclature before? Spoiler alert, it's the NFTs that were shilled on Stan Lee's Twitter page a few years back. There are so many reward tiers here, more than I've ever seen in a Kickstarter project. I shit you not, I think there's close to 40 or 50 different reward tiers. It's crazy. Here's one for $500 where you get basically a CGC slabbed Stan Lee image. It seems like the reward system is all about incentivizing collectors. Every reward tier has some kind of element that hypes up the collecting appeal of the reward tier for the Kickstarter. It's very, again, weird. Here's another option for $500 tier, where you can get a tour through Los Angeles with John, where you'll visit places where bribes were offered, schemes were plotted, and millions went missing, stories that have never been told till now. What? So he'll take you on a tour of places where Stan Lee was exploited for $500. He'll take you on the Los Angeles tour of Stan Lee being taken advantage of. I just don't know how that can be perceived as anything other than slimy. It's basically reducing the elder abuse Stan Lee suffered to a tour for you to go on for $500 with this guy who's treating it like it's some kind of like attraction. It's just so not okay, I feel. For $8,000, you get an invite to the Emmys and the Governor's Ball. All right. It goes on and on. I'm not kidding. 40 different reward tiers is an understatement. I think there's probably closer to 60 or 70 different tiers of Kickstarter rewards here.
With your help, we can finish the film, expose the truth, and give Stan the justice he deserves.
As I mentioned, this footage that he has most likely will showcase a lot of the horrible things people have done to Stan Lee, and many times he was taken advantage of. But I don't feel like the goal of this film is to get justice for Stan Lee. It looks very different when you actually go through the page, all the rewards, all of the things that the money is going towards, and also when you remember the fact that he's had this footage for so long and is now just bringing it out for a Kickstarter pitch. I find it very weird. But anyway, I just wanted to talk about it. That's it. See ya. I've seen a lot of gross videos on the internet. Usually nothing phases me. And I know that's a cliche a lot of people toss around like some kind of hardened, seasoned warrior of internet usage. Nothing gets under my skin or gives me the heebie-jeebies anymore. Been around too long. And light up a fucking cigar or something. I know a lot of people say that. But it's just very rare that I find a video that actually unnerves me. And a couple days ago, I found one of those rare cases where a video actually is just so yucky that it put the fear of God back in me when it came to internet gross out content. And it wasn't a planned shock video. We're not talking about Goatsy, Lemon Party, or any of the classics or anything, or new age shock videos. What it was a man in Paris set up cups around a location that people were using to publicly urinate. And the cups people would go up and pee in. And then he would scoot in there like a thief in the night, take the cup, drink it, and set it back down and waddle away waiting for more people to fill his goblet. And then once it was filled with more strangers' piss, he'd come right back in and claim his prize once more. It is so foul. It is revolting. I'm not going to show you the video itself because I'm sure that would be a terms of service violation on YouTube. It is very clearly sexual. There's no way this guy is drinking strangers' piss for nutritional benefits or because it tastes yummy. It is very much some kind of unreal fetish that I've never even heard of just drinking strangers' pee-pee. But I'll show you what he looks like. So this is the Tinkle Goblin, and he's got multiple cups set up waiting for people to fill it with piss. And I'll show you him about to claim his trophy. This is him approaching the cup in one of the videos here. And he drinks pretty much all of it because he doesn't want to waste any of that sweet nectar that he works so hard to collect here in his cup. In the video, you can see two men pissing into that cup at the same time. They are turbocharging it. It is actual urine. It's not like some kind of staged video. This isn't like a fake CGI experiment or anything, I don't think. It's all one continuous shot from a guy that is just filming from inside of the building and catching this guy in the act, drinking strangers' urine. He sets up these, booby traps for piss, so that way he can drink it. It's so weird and gross. I don't even really understand why it's so disgusting to me. I've definitely seen objectively more disturbing and gross videos, but there's something about the repeated nature of him doing this and the idea that he does this often. Because like I mentioned, in this video there is once again another cup that he has strategically placed to catch more piss, but that one's empty, so he must have already had his fill. But it might be more than just these two cups. He might have cups all around the city. He could be like a Batman tier villain who's trying to suck Gotham dry of their piss. It's just so bafflingly weird and gross to watch him drink all of it after watching the men piss into the cup. It's strange. It's just so odd. I'll show you clips where I talked about it on stream with chat, and we just kind of went over it for a little while. Again, don't show any of the clips of it because I do think it would be a violation of the rules too. But man, is it wild. You see about the guy in Paris stealing strangers' pee to drink? That is actually shocking that you mentioned that because I still have that video pulled up in a tab. It is one of the most bafflingly disgusting videos I have ever watched in my life. Like, it's on the same level as, like, my initial impression of Two Girls, One Cup. Like, the emotions I felt watching that for the first time, I felt again when I watched this video a few days ago. It's so gross. And there's a cup that's filled with fluid. And some old guy walks up to it, fucking chugs it, like literally just skulls this bitch, drinking all of the stranger's piss, and puts it back down as like this communal urinal, and then he walks away. So I believe this guy sets a cup down in a position where people will like piss in it, like if they have to publicly urinate, and he collects it all in this chalice, and then he goes and collects it every now and then to drink. It's so wild. Like, someone like that exists. Not only do they exist, but they're part of the same species as the rest of us. Like, I don't know what has to go wrong in someone's brain to lead to that. Also, in the video, there are people that are visibly peeing into the cup. I totally forgot about that in the beginning. There's two guys that are crossing streams on the cup, like the Ghostbusters with their proton beams. So two dudes are literally pissing in the cup right when the video starts. And then about a minute later, the old guy walks over, he's got a plastic bag, he reaches down, he picks up the cup, and he just fucking goes to town. He just goes to town. Sets it back down, walks away. And I imagine, if you haven't seen this video, I bet you have a mental image of what this guy looks like in your head, and I bet you are right on the money with what he actually looks like. He looks like a piss drinker. You look like the piss boy. Well, I mean, like, he actually just does, though. Like, he looks like he's just up to no good at all times. What's even weirder, though, is that this whole area seems like it's a designated piss pot. Because there's also another guy who's near the cup but not on it that's just urinating, too. And it's just in public. Is that not like a crime or something in Paris? Public urination? You know it had to be sexual. It is. It is very clearly sexual. No one's drinking strangers' urine for the flavor or fun. This is some kind of weird fetish. Can't find the video. What's it called? So it's on Reddit. It's called "Man Sets Up Cups for People to Piss in and Drinks Them." Is it possibly fake? It'd be quite a wild fake, because it's a continuous shot here. From the men peeing in the cup to the man walking over to the cup and drinking it. That would be a pretty impressive fake. And it'd be a weird thing to fake, because they get actually nothing out of it. People don't usually piss in the street like that. This video was taken during one of the biggest public protests in 50 years. Oh, is that why there's so many people here urinating on this building? I guess that would make more sense. So he's getting angry pee. Maybe this is part of his protest. I'm gonna keep drinking urine until you revert the retirement age changes. And you can't stop me. I'm gonna keep doing it. You better change your ways. But here, I'll bring this part down. This shouldn't be toss. So this is him leaving the scene of the crime there. But you can see all like the piss drivel streaks everywhere. It's, oh my god, it's so fucking revolting. It's so bad. I wonder how many bait cups he has scattered throughout the area, because this is probably not his only spot. He's probably dropped cups in all of like the hot spot corners of public urination. So that's where he's running to right now to go claim his prize from another area. He's like a fisherman with like lobster pots, so he's going to collect his his haul. The guy filming it showed an empty one under the window. No, that was that one, I'm pretty sure. It was just before the other two guys came in and defiled it. Well, not even defiled it, it's exactly what he looked for. Fed him. Oh, you're right. Oh, yeah, no, you're absolutely right. Nice. That's cool. No, that's the shit cup. Oh, yeah, maybe. Maybe the one in the corner over there was for pee and the other one's for poop. Right. You might be onto something. Like a rain catcher. Mm-hmm. That makes sense. Now it's all coming together. Now he doesn't even seem crazy anymore. It's always wild and sad to me that we live in a time where no matter how vile the actions that you witness are, there will be people that will fight to defend them, tooth and nail, as if their life depends on it. And these aren't actions that have any justifiable explanation, just truly evil things that are 100% confirmed real with video evidence backing it up as well as confessions, and yet still, there are people, brain rot little worms, jumping through these hoops, performing the most outrageous mental gymnastics that would put Cirque du Soleil to shame in order to somehow spin it as a good thing and that everyone else is wrong for criticizing it. This phenomenon has never been more infuriating than today, with the Dalai Lama situation. For those that don't know, the Dalai Lama recently, and there is a video showcasing all of this, I won't be playing any of it for obvious reason, you'll understand once I explain it. He had a child up on stage. He then kisses that young boy on the lips, the full-blown Tom Brady experience. But unlike Brady, this is not the Dalai Lama's kid. And he's also not done. He then says, "And suck my tongue." And he sticks his tongue out and then puts his tongue right in the face of that young boy and holds it there for a moment, like he was waiting to see if the kid would suck on it, like he's trying to get to the center of a Tootsie Pop. And then when the kid doesn't, he then leans back and he starts giving a big hearty belly laugh like fucking Santa Claus on his sleigh, like ah ha 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 ha, trying to play it off like he was just kidding. It was just a prank bro energy. And it's fucking disgusting. Obviously, I'm not going to show the video, but there is a video showing all of this. And somehow people are actually defending his actions. Now, I'm sure most of you know who the Dalai Lama is. You may even know him as His Holiness, though after this I imagine a lot of people will call him His Horniness, because this shit is fucking foul. So, like, I just don't understand, and we're going to get to his apology in a moment, but let's just break it down to the very immutable facts. He kisses a child on the lips that is not his kid, which I think is just a full stop fucking weird thing to do. Maybe, like, it's a cultural thing where that's more normal elsewhere, but even still, I find it very fucking odd. Especially with the way that he does it. The kid is pretty reluctant. He doesn't want to, but the Dalai Lama takes his, like, hand under his chin, pushes his head up, and then kisses him on the lips. It's like a fucking scene out of Twilight, or like some kind of really uncomfortable anime moment. Like, it's so gross. But what's indefensible, 100% indefensible, is him then sticking his tongue out and telling that child to suck on his tongue. So then he's got his wrinkly old tongue that he's hanging out like a dog who's panting after running around, and then he just wiggles it on up in there, right into that child's face, and holds it steady, waiting. Now here's the official statement from the Dalai Lama and his team on his Twitter, which I didn't even know he had a Twitter. That's already kind of fucking wild that the Dalai Lama Twitter's got like 19 million followers and all that. But anyway, it says, a video clip has been circulating that shows a recent meeting when a young boy asked His Holiness the Dalai Lama if he could give him a hug. His Holiness wishes to apologize to the boy and his family, as well as his many friends across the world, for the hurt his words may have caused. His Holiness often teases people he meets in an innocent and playful way, even in public and before cameras. He regrets the incident. So that kid wanted a hug, and he gambled and lost. He got a lot more than a hug out of this interaction. He got fucking trauma from it, no doubt. So let's break that down. They are unironically using it was just a joke. He was just kidding. Like, what's the fucking joke? He was only pretending to be a pedophile and a predator? Like, I don't understand what the joke is. If that kid sucked his tongue, if he actually did suck his tongue, then what? Like, would the Dalai Lama be like, haha, dude, you sucked my tongue, haha, oh, you little rascal, you idiot, you fell for my joke, pranked, fucking pranked, welcome to TikTok. Like, this makes no sense. This isn't a joke at all. Kissing a boy on the lips and then telling him to suck your tongue? What? That's like the worst true combo joke ever told, ever. If you wanted to make a joke in an innocent and playful way, why not stick to the classics like pull my finger and then you shit your pants when they pull your finger? Like, this is stupid. This is the worst defense I've ever seen. Actually trying it was just a prank, bro. But what makes it even stupider is the fact that there are people, granted not the majority of people, but there is a not small amount of people that are defending it, saying like, you guys just don't understand his sense of humor. This is ridiculous. Everyone's overreacting or it's out of context. like, holy shit, the amount of stupid juice that must be being pumped into the water supply is getting to dangerous levels to actually start justifying open pedophilia and predator behavior like this. This is fucking gross. People are actually saying that he was clearly just kidding. Let's assume that you really believe that. Would you be okay if he did that to your kid? Like out in public, right? If a stranger comes up to you and kisses your boy on the lips, and then he's like, I was just kidding, bro. Let him suck my tongue real quick, as part of the joke. Would you be like okay with it and fist bump the guy? Be like, oh, it's a fucking great joke, bro. I doubt it. I fucking doubt it. So why is the Dalai Lama getting a pass? The action is still the same. It's ridiculous. It is absolutely disgusting. And to go even further, there's a lot of people that are using one defense in particular, saying that it's a greeting. He was using the kissing on the lips and the tongue sticking out thing as part of a greeting. Let's run with that idea for a moment. Does the greeting then extend to sticking that tongue in the child's face and telling him to suck it? Is that part of the greeting as well, like a secret handshake? I don't think so. I've never seen that before. Like, I highly doubt it. This isn't action that has any justification for it whatsoever. Full stop. There is nothing anyone can ever say that would justify what the Dalai Lama did to that child on stage. It's fucking disgusting and it's inexcusable. And I'm really tired of seeing people try and argue that it's okay. Like, there's nothing about that should even remotely be, like, normalized or encouraged or written off as just a joke or goofing around. And honestly, this little apology that they whipped up in the Notes app in like 5 minutes here is making me even more concerned for how long this behavior must have been going on for, because they're writing it off as just, the Dalai Lama being the Dalai Lama, he's a little quirky, he likes to tease, even in front of the cameras in public. Well, what the fuck does he do in private then? Like, holy shit, if this is something that they're trying to just say, it's like, it's just, part of what he does, you guys just don't really get his sense of humor, like, holy shit. What kind of awful things must be going on in private? A lot of people raise that point as well. Like, damn, if he's willing to do this in public and then say, like, it's just, him being him, like, my God, it must be even worse in private. But yeah, anyway, just wanted to talk about this whole situation a little bit. That's about it. See ya.